Learning English doesn't always mean memorizing grammar rules or repeating the same phrases over and over again. One of the most powerful ways to really feel the language is through stories. When you listen to a story, your brain naturally connects new words and expressions to real emotions, places, and situations. That's how language becomes part of you, without you even realizing it. So before we dive into today's story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Real English Journey, and hit the bell so you never miss out on new adventures that help your English grow naturally. All right, let's begin. Today's story is about a guy named Ryan, a peaceful walk across a famous bridge, and a rainstorm that turned everything upside down. Ryan had always dreamed of visiting New York City. After years of seeing it in movies and TV shows, he finally arrived on a warm spring afternoon. The city buzzed with energy. Yellow taxis honked at every corner, steam floated from manholes, and people walked fast in every direction. After spending the morning in Lower Manhattan, Ryan decided to take a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. He had seen pictures of it all his life, those stone towers, the steel cables stretching out like a giant web, and the perfect view of the skyline. He climbed the wooden path that rose between the lanes of traffic and joined the steady stream of tourists, runners, and cyclists crossing between Manhattan and Brooklyn. The sky above was soft and cloudy, but not dark. It seemed like just another quiet afternoon. As Ryan walked, he admired the view. To his left, the Statue of Liberty stood far in the distance. To his right, the tall glass buildings of the financial district sparkled with light. The wind was gentle, and the sounds of the city felt distant up on the bridge. But then, everything changed. Without warning, a huge gust of wind blew through the cables. It was sharp and cold. Ryan looked up. The clouds had thickened. In just a few minutes, the soft sky had turned deep gray. The air smelled like rain. And then it started. First, just a few drops. Then a sudden downpour, heavy and fast. People around him gasped and shouted. Some ran toward the Brooklyn side. Others turned back toward Manhattan. Umbrellas popped open like flowers, only to snap backward under the force of the wind. Ryan didn't have an umbrella. Within seconds, he was soaked. His shirt clung to his back. Water dripped from his hair into his eyes. The wood beneath his feet grew slippery. His shoes made squishing sounds with every step. But he didn't run. Instead, he stood still for a moment in the middle of the bridge, completely alone in his decision to stay. The cables around him dripped with rain, and the city in the distance blurred into soft gray shapes. There was something magical about it. The bridge, usually filled with the noise of people and movement, was suddenly quiet except for the pounding of the rain. The wind roared past the towers, and the water created a steady rhythm on the wooden planks. Ryan began to walk again, slowly, carefully. The crowd had thinned. Most people had already reached one side or the other. But he didn't mind being alone. The rain felt fresh and clean, like it was washing away the noise and rush of the day. Halfway across, he passed a man wearing a bright yellow poncho and holding a soaked map. The man nodded. Ryan nodded back. There was no need for words. By the time Ryan reached Brooklyn, the rain had started to ease. The sky opened just enough to let a little sunlight through, and steam rose from the wet pavement like a silent mist. He found a bench near the edge of the bridge and sat down, dripping. He looked back across the water. The bridge stretched behind him, wet and shining. The city's skyline stood tall in the background, now clearer and sharper than before. The storm had passed, but it had left something behind, a memory that felt more real than all the perfect photos he had seen online. Ryan had planned to take pictures on the bridge. He had imagined smiling selfies with the towers in the background. But instead, he got something better, a moment that couldn't be staged. A moment that made him feel like he was part of the city, not just a visitor. As he sat on the bench, watching the clouds drift away, he realized something. The rainstorm had given him exactly what he needed. A pause, a fresh start, and a story he would never forget. And now it's yours too. By following Ryan across the bridge, through the wind and the rain, you've learned how to describe weather, movement, emotions, and unexpected events in English without studying a single rule. You absorbed phrases like gust of wind, soaked to the skin, and a moment that couldn't be staged. That's the magic of stories. You don't just learn the words, you live them. So, if this rainy journey helped your English feel more alive, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Real English Journey, and tap the bell to keep learning with more powerful, immersive stories. Now tell us in the comments, have you ever been caught in a surprise storm during a trip? Where were you and what happened? We can't wait to hear your real adventures.